I received a message from my uncle, Fatima, do not get out of the house because Taliban are here. And I thought it was a joke. I never thought that Taliban would take over the country so easily.
Breaking news where the Taliban is quickly sweeping across Afghanistan and is now effectively taking control of the capital, Kabul. Tensions are rising on the ground as residents face the reality of Taliban rule.
طريق از اینو خبر شدم که دختر تیمیلر اینا تهدید کرده و دنبالشان هست.
و یک شایعات دیگه هم بود که مثلا ما یعنی سوشیل میدیا را تعقیب گرفتن و هیچ کس نمیتونست یعنی با کسی که خیلی ضرورت داره مسیجش خیلی مهم را بتم.
My fear was Taliban would come after me at my house and just kill me on spot.
Concerns are mounting as reports emerge of restrictions and potential rollbacks on women's rights. For the women and girls of Afghanistan, life is going to look a lot different from here on out.
I didn't think that leaving was an option. Who would care about the women national team?
اولین باری که فوتبال بازی کردم با خواهرم بود و در پشت حولی داشتیم اونجا همیشه بازی میکردیم. بزرگترین آرزوی من است که یک دختر فوتبالیست، یک دختر هدفمند به هیچ چیزی فکر نمیکنم، فقط همون فوتبال بازی میکنم. یعنی
آرزوی می بود که در تیم نوجوانان شرکت کنم و خیلی کوشش کردم تا به هدف خود برسم و رسیدم. یعنی افتخار به خودم بود و به فامیلم. نخورین.
I loved to play football, and more importantly, I loved representing my country in a way that other people wouldn't think of, because they show the other side of Afghanistan, which is mostly war and injustices. People don't get to see the beautiful part, which is us playing sports.
مثلا فکر کن اونجا بری بعد همین اتفاقا وایسادی و سرود ملی پخش میشه، بیرق کشورتو میارن،
بعد از
سرود ملی
وقتی پخش میشه
حسی آدم پیدا میکنه. شاید
من خیلی دوست دارم سرود
خیلی
ملی.
احساساتی میشه اون وقت.
دقیقا بس داری من انداز.
When I used to see girls younger than me playing football, I would be so proud. I am part of a big change in my country. But then I saw all my dreams and all my goals like disappear within a second.
The United States has officially announced that the last flight out for US nationals and eligible Afghans will be August 31st. Thousands of Afghans are rushing to the airport, desperate to leave the country.
سلام فرخنده جان، سر دفتر معامله شده و امی تیم نوجوانای دخترها که هستن زیر خطر هستن. ما از امی کسایی که خود در خارج زندگی میکنن از امیا میخوایم که این امی 25 عضو تیم ملی را همراه خانوادهشان در خارج ببرن.
I was in shock. I knew I had to act immediately, but I had no clue what to do or how to do it. I always followed the news in Afghanistan, and when Kabul fell, my heart really dropped. My parents fled Afghanistan 30 years ago in a similar situation. I saw myself reflected in every young Afghan girl. I knew that they couldn't be left behind.
When I opened WhatsApp, I saw a text message from my coach. and Farkunda was added to group. I had absolutely no idea who she was, but we trusted her anyway because that was our only hope.
سلام همگی، فرخنده هستم. کوشش میکنم که شما را از افغانستان انتقال بدم. لطفاً کل اسنادهایتان بر من از طریق واتساپ روان کنین و در کدام اپلیکیشن دیگر نه. اوکی؟ تشکر.
My life depended on my phone and my privacy.
The stakes were extremely high for secure communication. If something was intercepted, whether it be their passports or IDs, not only would the mission be jeopardized, but everyone's life would be at risk.
As the evacuation deadline nears, the chaos outside the Kabul airport is only getting worse. The Taliban firing into crowds as desperate Afghans rush the gates in hopes of getting on one of the last few departing flights.
I was finally connected to intelligence officers. I was able to discuss how they were at high risk and why they needed to be evacuated immediately, and they were willing to support me. The escape plan was to get the families to a high school in Kabul. From there, they were supposed to be sent to a military base and airlifted into the Kabul airport.
سلام دخترها، فراموش نکنین که فقط شما و الا 3 اعضای فامیل دیگه تان همراهتان میتونه سفر کنه
بکسایتان آماده باشه، امرای نان و او.
و انشالله بخیر کوشش میکنیم که به زودی برایم.
It was hope for me and my family to move to somewhere safer. That kind of gave me the push to move on.
مدال داشتم خیلی، یعنی خیلی ارزش داشتن اون مدال آدم. رنگ بود و بیگ که داخلش کند اختم و لباسام که بود خیلی سنگین میشد، یعنی نمیشد که مثلا با او بدوی. او را مادم از اون منصرف شدم، رفتم به طرف لباسات دیدم. خیلی لحظه سختی بود و
وقت رفتن است دخترها. این موقعیت لطفاً به زودی خود برسانین. لایسنس پلیت موترتانم بر من روان کنین. تشکر.
I planned my life in my country, and when I found out that this is time for me to leave, I couldn't believe it.
خودم طرف مادر بزرگ خود رفتم و بغلش کردم و خیلی گریان کرد. گفت ما خیلی نمیخوایم که شما رقمی ببینم میرین. ای خدا.
I left my house. I didn't even take a second to look, to remember what was things like. And yeah, just remembering things. We rented a taxi, and the car ride was so scary. It was my first time seeing Taliban. Everything was so chaotic. There were gunshots and people screaming. That was the moment that I realized that this is not my home. Like, this is not the place that I used to know. When we got into the location, I saw familiar faces, and as soon as we parked, I just got out of the car and run to my friends, and I just hugged them. I never hugged with so much emotions. We knew that we have each other, and we can get through this with each other.
Pictures speaking to like 15, 16-year-old girls, they're the ones that are kind of pushing their parents to get out of the country through a person that they don't know very well. They trusted me blindly, which is not easy to do. Although it was a very big operation and there was so many individuals and groups behind this, ultimately the girls saw me. I was the main point of contact. I was the one communicating with them, and they thought that all of the plans were simply coming from me. So if anything went wrong, it was Farkunda's fault. And I could never really forgive myself for someone's life being in danger or dying, because that could have very much been a possibility.
We heard this explosion. There was a red light in the sky.
حتی موتر یک لرزه ای در خود داد که ما یعنی شور خوردیم که فهمیدیم یعنی خیلی ترسیده بودیم. فکر کردیم که یعنی طالبا خبر شدن و میخواین ما را بکشن.
I thought that that was it. And I was like, did I take that risk for nothing?
سلام همگی، امروز باز کوشش میکنیم. همین موقعیت است که شما خود باید برسانین. تشکر.
It was near airport, so it was more dangerous for us.
فعلا ما دمی میدانی پلوی تانک تیل هستیم. همه گیمینجا جمع هستن و تانک تیل اجازه نمیتن. خودش تانک تیل هست. کلاگی دمی هفته و اینجا هستن.
We waited there without food, without getting any sleep, struggling finding bathrooms, and just waiting for some update.
I would keep asking the intelligence officers, like, what's the next move? How do we get the girls out? But they would tell me, don't worry, everything will be fine. Someone will come pick them up.
We kind of had an eye on the airport, and every 10 minutes there was a plane taking off.
ما فقط سون طیاره رو سل میکردم میگفتم کی نوبتی ما میشه چرا من نیستم داخل طیاره.
Every minute that passes by, like, the hope is just kind of disappearing.
نون نمیخوریم فقط دمی آب میخوریم. بس تب دختران اونجا یک از همه دیگه چهره هاشون آشفته پریشان. هر دقیقه هر ثانیه جان ما در خطر است.
It became very clear that it was dangerous for them to stay there. I knew we had to get them out of that situation, and the only hope was the airport in Kabul, specifically that gate that we had access to.
سلام همگی، یک دروازه است در پشت سر میدان.
لطفاً اونجا خود برسانین به خاطر از او دروازه بخیر.
ببرایم از کشور.
When we got the last location, it was the secret gate, so it wasn't on the map. It wasn't somewhere that, like, people knew about it. And you would just guess, which road should I take? I had 3 or 4% of mobile charge, and I planned this percentage is for me to check the location for the last time. This percentage for me to say where am I at this moment, just to give an update to everyone. And the last, like, percentage is for me to call that person who got there and tell her just talk. What does the place look like exactly? Just say as fast as you can. In the middle of the conversation, my phone died. I mean, I just looked back and just saw the exhausted and the drained faces in my family, like, and I said, okay, like, let's just go home. So at that point, I'm kind of like outside watching everything happening. And I think of my home. The building and the backyard where I used to play football. And I feel sort of peace.
Officials have announced the last US military plane has left Afghanistan, but desperate Afghans hoping to be evacuated, time has unfortunately run out.
Everything that happened, the group chat was still there. The teammates, the friends, they were still there.
چون تنها من نبودم که در خطر بودیم، یعنی دخترای خیلی زیاد بود که ما در یک دیگه ما حمایت میکردیم و برای یک دیگه ما میگفتیم بخیر همه چیز جور میشه.
فکر میکنم همه چیز کل دخترها اونمو شده بود. گروپ چت مثل یک شمع بود، تمام وجودشان، تمام امیدشان، تمام چیز داراییشان، تمام چیزی که دارن با خود امو است فقط.
سلام همگی، ما هنوز تسلیم نمیشیم. پلان مایی است که انشالله بخیر به طرف مزار بریم و از اونجا شما را از میدان انتقال بدیم. مثل که شما میفهمین تا مزار 8 ساعت است، ولی فعلا امرای کل مشکلات شاید 10 ساعت بگیرد.
I personally knew that if we don't get them out now, the situation will not allow us to get them out months from now either. In the heat of the moment, people cared, but afterwards they could care less. And we just see them as a group of people. We see them as Afghans, but each Afghan has their own story. When we got to Mazar Sharif, they were supposed to go to the airport, but unfortunately, the situation was just as chaotic as Kabul. We just didn't anticipate it. So instead, we had to quickly shift, and we decided to keep them in a safe house. The safe house was similar to a banquet hall. Now they're finally not chasing around on the roads, and they have time to rest and recover.
گفتیم جای ما خواهم است فعلا.
We thought it's gonna be for just a couple of hours.
و به جایش ما 21 روز تقریبا اونجا ماندیم.
It was really important for me for the girls to be granted asylum in a country and not end up in a refugee camp. A lot of migrants leave Afghanistan, they're forced to flee, they're displaced. People don't want them in their countries, and they have that sense. And so it was really important for me for them to find a place to call home.
سلام همگی، از حوصله‌مندی و از قدرتمندی شما تشکر میکنم. ما هنوز
فعلا از دل و جان بر شما کار میکنیم.
لطفاً یکی دیگر حمایت کنین. مثل که تا فعلا قهرمان بودین، انشالله با خیر پیشرفت میکنیم.
خیلی دخترها همگی ما در هم دیگه نزدیک شده بودیم به خاطری که همگی ما یک مشکل داشتیم و همگی ما یک آرزو را داشتیم، یعنی در یک گروهی بودیم که میخواستیم از افغانستان برایم.
همه ما با هم هستیم، تنها نیستیم. اگر پشت هم دیگه باشیم میتونیم این کار را انجام بدیم.
سلام همگی، تیاره ما آماده است. بیرون هتل باس منتظر شما است. لطفاً به زودی خود برسانین که باید برایم.
And we checked our WhatsApp And we saw the Farkhunda told us that the bus is there and you need to get your stuff. And we screamed and everybody was so happy. And I'm so scared because the security is checking my bag and I have my national team jersey. And he takes that out and he looks at me and says, "Are you a football player?" And I'm like, "Me? No, I'm not. What made you think that?" And he just laughs and says, "Don't worry, like, this is over." So we got on the plane, and even at that point, I'm like expecting something to happen because this is unreal. And I'm expecting Taliban would be like, stop the airplane. We didn't even know what we were going. We were just happy that the plane took off.
ما خیلی ناراحت بودم. گریان کردم به خاطر از اینکه وطن خودم اعلام میکنم، ترک میکنم و میرم. چیزی را که ساخته بودم و آرزوهایی که داشتم به خاک یکسان شد و خیلی سخت بود. آجی مای دیگه سویدن به خاطر مسابقه میریم. چقدر زود تیر شد همه چیز.
We all are players from the Afghanistan national team, but after the Taliban came and took power of Afghanistan, they no longer want female athletes participating in sport, and for that reason, we're currently under ban and can't. And so we decided to play under the banner of Team Ayenda. And Ayenda means future in Farsi. They might be facing difficulties now, but we know that there will be the change for future generations.
اوکی دخترها، همین تمرین آخرین ما است. قبل از سفر کردن به سویدن صدها تیم‌ها اونجا می باشن. شاید از شما کده یعنی تیزتر باشن و یا کلانتر باشن، ولی از ما کده قوی‌تر نیستن. بسیار مشکلات یک جای دیدین، منیس خواهر و شما تانستین که پیشرفت کنین و کامیاب باشین. امروز ما به مردم افغانستان بازی میکنیم و امروز نشان میدیم که ما کی هستیم. آماده هستین دخترها؟ اوکی. 1 2 3 آینده! آینده! آینده!
Field of highest victors, he ties his lace, kiss the ground and skies above him, the highest praise. No one flip a coin, it begins.